Yes, people, welcome to another edition of Agenda FC on Sarcasm City TV, hosted by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note, and I'm joined by one of my fellow co-hosts, the Don himself, the king of spin. You know what I'm saying? And that the best non-Manchester United troll out here on these social media streets, Carefree Lewis. Yes, fam, what are you telling me? You good?
I'm good. What are you saying, man? Week's been solid.
Yeah, man, I can't complain. United won in it, so that's perked up my mood. But up until that point, the only issue I had in life was Manchester United. But minus that, everything's blessed. Also,
we
people,
got 3 midweek. I'm happy.
Oh yeah. You lot okay because you lot play next week in the Champions League, isn't it?
Atletico, yeah.
Madrid. All right, we're gonna get into that. Big up to everyone who is locking in. Make sure on your way into the video, you hit the like button on the video. If you're watching on the YouTube, hit the like button, share it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV. When you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell when you do. Same on the Twitter. Make sure, because this number, because of Lewis, this show does big numbers on the Periscope. So make sure you retweet the tweet, like the tweet, follow Lewis, myself, Talk Sarcasm City, everything across there. But let's introduce the guest, of course. And before I do that, actually, if you haven't seen Agenda FC before, it's where we get a guest in, or between the hosts, we'll just give a strong opinion about something on football, past or present, because people love to throw around the word agenda. As soon as you have a strong opinion on something, if they disagree with you, it's an agenda. And that's not always the case. So that's how the show came about. So let me introduce this guest, a fellow Chelsea Don. So I bet Lewis is happy he's here. Very opinionated, very knowledgeable. His YouTube channel is going from strength to strength. You get what I'm saying? Out here working hard. Man like Monster, what are you telling me?
Big up, bro. Big up to everyone in there as well, man. Do you know what I mean? Good to be first time on your channel, Flawless, man. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, man. Long overdue, man, innit? But we're going to make it a more regular thing, innit? But welcome to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Sarcasm City TV. Welcome, Monster people. Make sure you follow his YouTube channel. I'm going to add it to the YouTube title. Lewis's is already in there, so make sure you subscribe to him and subscribe to Monster's channel also. But as you can see from the title, this is agenda from, well, not an agenda. This is an opinion from Monster. Steven Gerrard was better than Frank Lampard. So I'll let you take it away and explain why.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just felt at the time that, you know, growing up, I just generally in general, like, there was no conversation when I was younger, like during when they were both playing in their primes and coming up. It wasn't really a conversation of Lampard even, you know, being in a conversation with Gerrard. Like, it was just a thing where Gerrard was better. That's what everyone thought. It wasn't until they retired that I started hearing more and more people saying that Gerrard's better than Lampard, innit? And the thing about me is that I know people bring up goals and assists and everything, innit? With me, that's not really what I look for in my midfielder. I look for more controllers as well, people that set the tempo of the game and things like that. Like, and if people want to use goals and assists, then you would normally say, oh yeah, Lampard's better than Xavi or Iniesta. But we know that's not true. Xavi and Iniesta are just far superior, innit? Okay. And I see Gerrard in that kind of mold a bit. I just feel like it's not a massive difference, but just a tiny bit. Gerrard is better than just a tiny bit. Gerrard is better than Lampard, isn't it?
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Before we even get Lewis's response, because that's what's most interesting. Because as soon as Monster DM me what his opinion was and what the title was going to be, Lewis messaged me in it and just put in capital letters. What kind of title is that? And I just burst out laughing. So I was like, all right, this is going to be good. Salute to Wayne and both super chats. He says, my guys, let's smash the like button and respect the team on YouTube. Respect Lewis. Hit me up tomorrow when we go third. Big up to Wayne each and every time. You can catch him on Blues Fans TV alongside Lewis.
I don't think we can go third tomorrow because we're there 4 points ahead.
Yeah, 4 points.
So Wayne getting ahead of himself. I feel outnumbered.
We'll beat United next week and then go third.
Yeah, I don't know about all that in it. That's got draw written all over it, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it, Lewis? With Monster saying that Gerrard was superior and it only became a conversation once the two of them retired.
Here's the thing. Like this is the jarring thing because it's Monster as well. Monster always comes with a good argument, which is jarring. It's doubly jarring as well because he's Chelsea, and it's like, really, man, you're gonna break the agenda machine like this. But no, I think it's a tight debate regardless. That's the reason why this has been one of the biggest debates over the last 20 years. I'm still going to say Frank Lampard shamelessly, and it's not just because of goals and assists. It's because both of them were that good as players. I think it's a genuine argument where you could literally go one way or the other. And for most players, especially when you were managing England, it was a case of can you play one or the other, or they both tried to play the pair of them and they didn't play them right. Mm-hmm. I'd say it's a tight debate. Like my argument was going to be goals and assists, and the fact that you say what's his name, Gerrard thrived in lesser teams, but Lampard stood out in those big teams with big names as well, and he kept himself in the making. 03 Frank Lampard, everyone was saying he was going to be the one that could potentially be getting pushed out to the side when we started the Russian Revolution. And he just got to a next level that season, and he never looked back. His consistency as well, rarely ever got injured. I think he went 164 league games in a row without an injury. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. There's longevity in there, and that's why I would say Lampard.
He barely got injured. You're right about that.
Yeah, he was always fit. I'll give you that. What's your response to that, Monster, in what Lewis has said there about his goals and assists, which you've already touched on, him also not being injured, etc., and people saying that when the Russian Revolution started and Abramovich took over, he was going to be the one to be pushed out?
I don't know about he was going to be the one to be pushed out. I don't even remember anyone saying anything really like that. It was more of a thing where who's coming in. It wasn't really, because when Lampard, if you're talking about midfielders, who did Mourinho really bring? He only brought Thiago.
No, I'm thinking like the 03-04 season. And I'm not saying more pushed out, but everyone was saying out the new additions that Chelsea are going to get, it could be him that's the one that has to make way. It's like when you're looking at the midfielders we have and you're thinking which one could potentially have to leave in that sense.
Yeah. Because I just looked at it. I remember exactly when it happened, but I was just looking at it like Mourinho didn't really bring anyone to replace Lampard anyway, so it wasn't a thing where he could have been pushed out. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. Lampard stepped up big time when Mourinho came in. He stepped up massively. But then just as equally, that season, or was it the season before? One of the seasons, Gerrard also stepped up. Do you know what I mean? And won the Champions League, and you could say carried Man City, not Man City, Liverpool to the Champions League title. So it was just a bit mad, isn't it? It's a bit mad. It's like you could go with either or. With me, it's just Gerrard. Like if I'm like with the England team, where I think England got it wrong was it's like, okay, you want to play the two of them, okay, play a DM behind them, but then at the same time they also had Scholes. So in a situation where you've got Lampard, Gerrard, and Scholes, you can't play three of them together. It doesn't work. You've got to play a DM, obviously Michael Carrick. Who are you going to drop? To me, you've got to drop. I think you've got to drop Frank Lampard. I think you've got to play Scholes and Steven Gerrard. Scholes to me is just clear. He's clear of all of them. Like,
we're gonna get into that.
Yeah. Scholes is clear of all of them. He's not even in. Like to me, none of them are in a conversation to be compared to Scholes. He's England's Xavi. And to me, if I was to drop any of them, it would be Lampard, and Lampard will be coming off the bench. I know I'm saying this as a Chelsea fan, but I'm looking at it in a football sense, not in the sentimental sense. You know what I mean? With me, it's about football, innit? So I would have probably dropped Lampard over the three or over the two and played a DM behind them.
I get what you're saying. In regards to, we'll start there because you mentioned it with England. I think a trio of those three works. You could have easily played Scholes as the deeper one, and Lampard and Gerrard, because that's where Lampard at Chelsea, you could have that was him at his best when he was playing in a 4-3-3. You could have replicated that and got the best out of him. Gerrard doing the SEN role, maybe not to that extent. Gerrard, it could have worked for England.
Gerrard, I mean, Scholes, Gerrard doing the SEN, I don't think it works. I think you've got to use Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick is the one that has to come in. You play him along with Scholes, and you use either of them, and it's peak for the rest of the world. But England couldn't do that. England couldn't do that.
Yeah, because they didn't have the managers do. Because if I remember correctly, I think Stroh always brings this up when, and it ties into your point, Monster, about dropping Lampard. When England won 5-1 in Germany, it was a midfield 2, if I remember correctly, of Scholes and Gerrard. If I remember correctly, it was. So those, to me, for England, you could have played all three or you drop. It had to be Scholes and one other. And not just because I think Scholes is clear of them both, it's also because Lampard and Gerrard just didn't work in a two. Lampard at his very best with Chelsea wasn't in a two. Gerrard, I think, at his very best for Liverpool, it wasn't at a two. But then a Liverpool fan might say different, because to me, Gerrard at his best was when he had Torres in front of him and he had Mascherano and Xavi Alonso behind him. So they all play better in a three. Lampard plays better in the three, so does Lampard, rather than the two.
Yeah.
I hear you. What do you reckon about that, Lewis, for England, on the England scenario?
I mean, I could understand Lampard coming off the bench in a footballing sense, because that just sounds like a wavy bench option, to be honest. Like, I'd be all for that. But, like I said, the debate's tight anyway, so I'd still push for Frank Lampard, but we both have our own separate points, innit?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Bigger winner surfer again on the super chat. We will get to the comment shout out. Yeah, we will get to the comments, people. Yeah, he says he's also a member as well. If you want to subscribe to the Sarcasm City TV membership, underneath the video and the YouTube links underneath this video. Big up winner surfer. He says, Monster, tut. Slippy G is never better than primetime Lampard. Gerrard loved being a whale in the teardrop where Frank was a shark. Oh, so he's talking about Gerrard not being at a big club and having great players around him, whereas Lampard was in the prime time Lampard years he's speaking of. One thing about this, though, is that Mourinho tried to sign him. So that tells you that it could have worked. Mourinho had a plan. I don't think Mourinho was going to play them in a two.
But we'd have a DM, wouldn't we?
Yeah, Mourinho would have been a lot smarter with how he would have used, them. Because with England, like, as we can see it now, like, the setup is just a joke in terms of the way they use players. They still, till this day, do not know how to use players. They're still rubbish. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I hear you. And in regards to who's the better player just overall, I think it is Gerrard. I've said this, and as a Manchester United fan, I would love to put Gerrard last. You get me, on the whole Lampard score, but not saying Lampard's not a good player. Like, goals and assists don't lie in it. His ability to impact games and score goals in big games, I'm sure obviously used to, as Chelsea fans know how many big games he scored in, or derby goals or winning goals or important goals he scored for you lot. So that, but Gerrard was the better player to me.
To me, yeah. To me, it's just.
Am I frozen?
No, you're not. To me, it's just mad. Like, seeing Gerrard. Like, I remember watching.
All right,
I was just amazed. Like, raw, this guy is a player. When I remember when they were talking about, and it was so close to him coming to Chelsea. I was like, raw, we're about to get a real player here, a real midfielder here, innit? It probably could have worked for England as well if Mourinho did get his hands on him. He would have showed England a blueprint on how to use Gerrard, innit? But you know, we all know how England is, innit? Do you know what I mean? They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Now, I hear that, and that's what it is. I think Gerrard was just the reason why I think he's the better player, because he was just the more complete. Going forward, I don't know what his goals are. He could score goals. He could create like Lampard could, but then he had a better passing range. Lampard wouldn't do a box to box. You know what I'm saying? Gerrard could play that role. Gerrard could play out wide right, as we've seen with Rafa Benitez pushed him out wide right too. So that's why I think he is the better player. But I see both arguments. Like, when you said it, I was like, yeah, I'm in full agreement with this. I knew Lewis would be the one to be like, all right, let's see where this is going. As he DM'd me saying, yo, what's going on with this title? But yeah, man, that's what it is.
I don't even try to be, I'm not even trying to be controversial with it. It's just something that I thought was known. Do you know what I mean? I was confused that whenever I hear people arguing about it, I was just confused that people actually saying this. Like, I remember I remember the conversation so well. And just watching Frank, and I watched Gerrard, and it's just like, bruv, like, I don't know. To me, midfielders, it's just to me, they've got to control the game. To me, I see Lampard as more of a shadow striker, somewhat, in a way.
He's a second striker. That's what I remember. That's what he reminded me of.
That more than a midfielder, innit? Do you know what I mean? So if we're just talking in a midfield sense, I feel Gerrard is better.
Nah,
I feel like it's more the case that Gerrard needed to be utilised in all those positions, and he just did it to good effect. Because with Lampard, I feel like with how good our squad was in terms of depth and ability, do we ever need to risk putting Lampard in any of those positions, or we could always just play to his strengths?
Not necessarily. No, we don't. You're right. You're right, man.
I don't think he could. I don't think Lampard could have done. All right, you don't get the most effective Lampard without playing him as you do. Whereas I think Gerrard could have done that. So that second striker role of Drogba, Gerrard could have done. He had all the attributes to do that. You know, good long range shooting, creative, late runs into the box, etc., etc. And again, that's why Mourinho, we touch you back. That was Mourinho in his pump. He was trying to sign him for a reason, and he definitely wasn't going to play him in a 4-4-2. He did without question.
No, Chelsea,
without question.
Mourinho don't do 4-4-2. That's the England formation, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Ain't no Mourinho doing no 4-4-2, bro.
Yeah, facts. Like D'Angelo here says, facts. You'll say he says Lampard is more technical than Gerrard, but it's the overall impact you can have on a team. Look at Suarez; his impact was amazing. If you think about it, is Lampard technically better than Gerrard? Was he technically better?
I don't know about that. I don't know about technically better. I don't know.
Because I don't see any of them as like, none of them are like, they're not bad footballers, but I don't never looked at Gerrard and Lampard and be like, yo, you are technically, you're techie. Get me? What do you think?
Scholes was techie. Scholes was techie.
Yes.
Scholes was a techie player.
I'm so glad you're saying this. And it's not.
Scholes was like, watching Scholes, it was like watching Xavi, do you know what I mean? It's just the same mode.
Something else, man.
Yeah, I think that's why Xavi said he studied a lot of Scholes' game, innit? Because they looked exactly like, they were very similar in the way they play. So I'm not surprised when Xavi said, oh yeah, I studied Scholes, innit? I'm not surprised at all.
That's what I'm saying. And that, you know what I'm saying? Technically, I'm not sure, Lewis, what you telling us? What are you saying?
Here's the thing, like, I'd never be worried about Lampard beating a player. Like, I think he's good in that sense, but I think Lampard's best asset was more based on his positioning and movement as well. Like, you look at those late runs into the box, for example, that's where he thrives on, and those sorts of finishes. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really see Lampard take too many touches before the finish with some of his shots.
It was one touch bang.
Right. Yeah, his was all positioning and movement. So technically, I probably wouldn't push too much for that, but it wasn't say you needed that in a sense anyway.
Yeah, because Dan just shouted that. Salute to D'Angelo. But yeah, I don't see him as technically better. But I hear what he's saying. Glazes out. He's going all the way. He says Modric is better than Gerrard and Lampard. Modric is a baller. You know what I'm saying?
I think, do you know what's mad? Saying now, you say that now, and I think that's a shout. I think that actually is a shout. I think what people would say is, oh yeah, because it's, you know, a lot of people like with nowadays players, they will never admit that there's certain nowadays players better than the old school players, isn't it? But then when you look at what Modric has done at Real Madrid, the fact that he's a Ballon d'Or winner as well, and in the midst of Messi and Ronaldo, you might argue Ronaldo deserved it, but the fact he did win it. Also, he got the way he carried that Croatia team to the semi-final of the World Cup, something Lampard and Gerrard couldn't even coexist together and do with Wayne Rooney and everyone. To me, Modric is, I would say, I would agree with that. I'm sorry. He's just done too much not to. He's had a better career than both. If you think about it, he has now had a better career than both. I think he's won more league titles, or obviously Gerrard's won 0. I think he's got more league titles than both of them combined. One more Champions League than both of them combined as well. Carried his team to a World Cup final and a Ballon d'Or winner. So you can say now officially, if you're looking at their careers, Modric is better than Lampard and Gerrard. You can say that. It is plausible.
He was cold. His passing range was ridiculous. He's one of the midfielders who always had time on the ball, similar to a Scholes. Pirlo was like that. Xavi was like that. Them are different, especially to do that in the Premier League where it's 100 miles per hour and everyone's closing it down, etc., etc. What are you saying on this, Lewis? Obviously, I know Modric, and he's one of the ups for you also, in it. So
we wanted him.
No, it's easy. Yeah, that's the jarring thing as well, because he really could have been a Chelsea player, and we could have had him for a long time. And I hate Daniel Levy for this. I was going to say I'm glad we stole Willian off them, but long term, it is what it is. But Modric is clear. Modric is clear. Now, like, William one's for another day. Like, that could go into that for another 20 minutes. But Modric is clear of Lampard and Gerrard. I can easily admit that. He's a quality player by a mile. And like Monster said as well, his career eclipsed both of them. Man's got a Ballon d'Or. Neither of them don't. Guy's got 4 Champions Leagues. Simple
Champions Leagues in 5 years.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, I have no shame in saying that.
Yeah, I hear that. Harris makes a great point here. He says Bruno is a Lampard region. Bruno is Lampard-esque. Not in terms of, I can't say as a player. What I'm saying is in terms of impact. Because Lampard's impact was nuts in terms of his goals and assists. And Bruno's like that too. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think Lampard overall, can I say Lampard's a better baller? Oh, I'll have to see more.
Don't.
What?
Don't.
What, man? I'm asking the question
I
here.
don't know about that.
I'm asking
Because Lampard
Go
wouldn't
on.
have those games in and out where he dropped disaster classes and stat pad a goal and an assist at the end of it. Like, he play well
get
and
you.
get a goal and assist.
Yeah,
I
his
don't know
overall
about
play would have been
Bruno
better.
I don't know
Go
about
on.
it. Listen, Bruno's got right now his impact is showing, but he has a lot of more time to go before we can say, yeah, he's better than Lampard, innit? But it could be possible.
Nah.
Like, I'm not saying it's not possible,
Yeah,
innit?
go on.
So
No, I'm not saying better. I was just asking in terms of just sole impact, not as a player. I'm just saying as impact players for what they do in terms of just numbers.
It's a shout. It's a shout. It's a
Yeah.
shout. We'll see. I think time will tell, innit? It's possible. It is very possible that he could be, but it's more of a time will tell kind of thing. So I would give Bruno some time and to see if he can match that Lampard. Just give him some time and we'll see, innit? Do you know what I mean? There's no telling right now.
Nah, I hear that. Big up Afdelin Skills, who says big up Monster. Shah Yan City in the building, who says big up my guy Monster. Man is saying Lampard over Gerrard. Yeah, I don't see that shout in it, but that's just me. Salute to my bae Yan City. She says, and shouts to my Sugar Puff and Lewis, of course. Love to you. And she's got a joker, you know what I'm saying? Harris says, I rate Gerrard and Scholes the same. You see, Gerrard, he did carry that shit team till the Champions League 2005. Is incredible. Yeah. Nah, Gerrard, nah.
Shouldn't have made it.
Not even the fact he should have made it.
It.
Gerrard Scholes never, the way Gerrard cost Liverpool that league title. And I know it wasn't solely on that, but that will stick out. You get what I'm saying? Man slipped. And yes, it's funny, but clutch moments. Because if he scores the winner in that game, Liverpool fans are talking about, and that's a part of the argument, that's why Gerrard's better than Scholes, led Liverpool to a league title, scored a goal against Chelsea, Mourinho, blah, blah, blah. So we have to keep the same energy now. It's gone the other way and that. That's a clutch moment. That's the equivalent of missing a penalty or 1-on-1 at some point.
It is. I wouldn't hold him to it. I think that's so harsh. I think that's so harsh on Gerrard, man. I just think that's not. He did, and I always do take the piss for that. I just think it's so harsh to get at him for that. I think it's harsh, man. I don't think he deserves that.
Nah, you have to. The reason why I get at him for that, because like I said, if he has a masterclass in that game and they win the title at that point, or say for instance he slips and they go a goal down and then Gerrard has a masterclass after that and he scores 2 goals and Liverpool win that game, we're having a different conversation. People are talking about look at what he did after the mistake. That's a clutch moment. You know what I'm saying? It's a clutch moment. It couldn't happen to a better team and as a United fan, to a better team and a better player. I love to see it. It was fantastic. But we just have to hold the same energy towards that. It's a clutch. Scholes don't do that. You know what I'm saying? In that Scholes retired and came back and won the Premier League.
He did.
Levels.
He did. It is levels. There's levels. There's levels to this. With Scholes, there's just levels to it. Like, you would never really compare Lampard to Xavi or Iniesta, even though you could say they don't play the same position, innit? But you wouldn't compare Gerrard either, but you could compare Scholes. Do you know what I mean?
He's in the conversation.
He's in the conversation. He's on that level. That's how good he was. So to me, Scholes to me, like I see a lot of people doing like world Premier League 11s, and I don't see enough of Scholes in that conversation.
Ridiculous.
Don't see enough Scholes. Don't see enough. I think he gets a bit disrespected in that way. He deserves to be there. He does 1000%. He deserves to be in that conversation over Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. Like, do you know what I mean?
Let's go, Monster, man. I like this still. You need to come back more often, fam. This is facts. This is facts.
It's football,
I've
bro.
said this.
I was just drinking it.
No. Listen, you see me. I know. Obviously, I do my player props and all that stuff in it. But one thing I don't do is like I don't lie about like when especially because obviously I'm not just. I don't see myself as just a Chelsea supporter. I also see myself as I'm a big England supporter in it. So I don't be lying when it comes to England players in it. With who's better than what, because I also support English players as much as I support Chelsea players in it. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't sit here and lie like acting like certain players were shit or whatever when they weren't. Like that would be me lying, innit?
When with the Scholes one, I always say this to people. Yes, you get other professionals bigging up other players, but no professional gets bigged up more than him by the caliber of players.
None.
Look at the list of players in that. Zidane, you get what I'm saying? They said, "Who's the best? Are you the best midfielder in the world?" He said, "Nah, it's Paul Scholes." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he said the one player he regrets not playing with was Paul Scholes. I'm not
there
wrong.
you go. This is what I'm saying.
Said he studied Paul Scholes. Iniesta said it as well.
This is what I'm saying.
Bare players talking about how they used to study Paul Scholes, innit? Like,
that's my whole point.
Study him.
Thierry Henry speaking on every time Arsenal played United at them times. The number one thing was, how do we stop Scholes? All the ballers Manchester United had during that period when Henry was playing, and it was like, how do we stop Scholes? Like, everybody speaks about him in such a high class. But then Barcelona, even one of the finals, Barcelona-Manchester United finals, the Barcelona players drew straws to get his shirt. Pedro, Xavi, Iniesta, all them, man, drew straws to get man's shirt. But people will tell you that he's not. Ridiculous.
That man grew up. That man grew up studying his game, bro. Do you know what I mean? You saw you remember it was him that eliminated them the year before they won it, like with a long shot. The final before the Chelsea Man United final, it was him that eliminated them.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. OT, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, innit? But Luke, I want to get your thoughts on it. What's your thoughts on the Gerrard slip? Am I being too harsh, like in terms of it being a clutch moment and that playing into his legacy? Or
the only reason why I say it's a clutch, it might be seen as a clutch moment, is because how close it was to half time. Like, if I remember correctly, that was that added time or something into the first half, and then you slip like that. That just looks like you've just let your mind fall asleep for 5 or 10 seconds, and you've done a bit of a fuckery. It is harsh. Regardless of it, it's hard because it's one slip that basically defines his entire career now, and it's a glowing career too, which is like, from a tribal point of view, I can't lie, it's hilarious. But it's also it's a shame for Gerrard as a person, because he must hate that that's all over his head since the day of that slip, and I can't imagine what that would be to live with. But
I think that's so unfair.
It's a sticky one still. Like, if you're a tribal fan, you're looking at it as a madness. Like, the first time Liverpool went to Stamford Bridge after that, I've never heard a chant so loud as the Steve Gerrard chant, like 2 minutes into the game. Like, because you know the thing with home crowds, and they ain't loud like that, really. And even when it's big games, they have their quiet points. Nah, I swear down, it was everybody in the ground chanting that. It was heartless, man.
Yo, it's great, man. It couldn't, as a United fan, it could not happen to the Mr. Liverpool, the Liverpool captain at Anfield. It was great. Shout out to Ryan, because Ryan was there. He's a Liverpool fan. Shout out to Ryan. He was in the ground at that point. He was near the halfway line. He's seen him slip. You know what I'm saying?
Mate.
He was telling us he was there.
See,
go on.
No, I was just gonna say, I wish he was here just so I could really find out what his exact feeling was in those 10 seconds, because that must have been terrible.
Yo, Ryan, if you're about, I'll send you a link, and you can come on and tell it. When he told us the story on the Q&A, me and Jan said he was dying. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I said, where was you sat? He was like right on the halfway line, closer to Gerrard. When he slipped in it. You know what I'm saying?
When was he talking about?
Oh, this was on the Q&A, not the last one. Was it last week Sunday? I think it was last Sunday.
Cool.
I think it was last Sunday he was speaking on it. Oh, yeah. It was so many funny moments. It's hilarious. Like, I had tears rolling down my face in it. When the man said he was there, it's like, that must be the most devastating thing to see in that. Just see Demba Ba taking the ball away and that. And he even said he reckons Mignolet
should you know what? Yeah, that match was peak. Like, boy, it must have been so frustrating for Liverpool fans, because we literally went there to stink up the joint and take everything away from him, innit? Away from them. Yeah. Mourinho was dirty, man. He was dirty.
Yeah, he was dirty.
He was their crypt.
I love him. He was dirty.
Nice facts.
I don't know if they deserve that shit, but fuck it.
Yeah, man, that couldn't happen. It couldn't happen to a nicer club. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't happen to a nicer club, innit? Like, I love seeing that, innit? Like, as great as Patrick Vieira is, I'll always love him for that pass he gave Giggs in the semi-final in '99. Phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? The chant that came with it, everything. And he says every time he sees a Manchester United fan, they remind him of that pass. You get me? That crossfield ball right into Giggs' path. Fantastic, man. You gotta love it. You know what I'm saying? That's me, though. I'm tribal like that, so I love to see it. But all jokes aside, yeah, Gerrard is a quality player, and we've seen what he did for Liverpool. Liverpool don't have the successes they had during that period without him. They don't win champions. They don't win the Champions League without him. They don't win. I've seen him win FA Cups for them. They probably don't get as close to league titles without him also. So it is what it is. Afdelin says, I would take Fabregas over Gerrard. What are you lot saying about that?
Mad.
Yeah, it's a shout. That is a shout. It's Fabregas over Stevie G it's a shout. It's a shout.
I mean, Prime Cesc or Chelsea Cesc as well.
Both.
All right, let's say Prime. All right, we'll do both. So we'll do Prime and also Chelsea Cesc. Prime Cesc was different. I've said this to people. Man was 19 in the Premier League, done in it up. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, put respect on his name in it. Man was 19. It's not like he was. It's not like he was physically massive. It's not like he was electric. A man was done up the Premier League at that point when he came in. I think that's the last time they won the Premier League. I think he was in the side, and then obviously it fell apart for them, if I remember correctly.
He won. Listen, Fabregas. I mean, he's won everything bar in the Champions League, innit? So it's not like he hasn't won what Gerrard has won. He's in the international competitions as well. He was integral to that Spain side, although he was coming off the bench a lot of the time, still playing. I think he got. Did he get the assist for the goal? Or was it Fernando Torres? Who got the assist? Was it Torres or was it? It was
for the goal in for Spain. It was him, I think. When he played it to Iniesta.
Yeah, it was Fabregas.
Yeah,
it was Fabregas.
So there you go, an assist in the final of the World Cup as well. The only thing he hasn't won is the Champions League.
Did he not win the Champions League at Barca? Has he not won?
He didn't. He didn't win it. He didn't win it. Obviously mad. Chelsea got in their way, innit? Do you know what I mean? But it is a shout. So I would probably say I'll probably say it's a shout. Fabregas was better than the what do you call it? The champion.
Fabregas over Gerrard.
Yeah. Over Gerrard.
What are you saying, Lewis?
Prime Cesc, I definitely think is a shout. Chelsea Cesc, I thought would be the bigger question, but I think if you talk about him in his prime 14-15 season as well, there's definitely a conversation there because he was ridiculous. It's just the jarring thing with us with Fabregas that he declined a lot earlier than we would have wanted him to. Like 16-17, I wouldn't even say he declined. It's just he didn't see enough game time as someone of his quality should have in that system. But the system didn't really suit him like that, so it is what it is. By the time he played anything semi-decent to his style of play, his legs were just gone. So it's a shame, but yeah, Fabregas has to be up there in the conversation as well. He's a quality midfielder.
He does because, man, like you said then, he's won everything by the Champions League. He was at Arsenal. I think he won the Premier League there, wherever else he won. Went Barca, won everything by the Champions League. Internationally, he's done it. Came back to Chelsea.
He got a Europa League medal, right?
Yeah, he got a Europa. I think he got a Europa League as well. He just won everything bar in the Champions League. I mean, at international level, they won everything. Like,
that's
everything. Mad. Everything there is to win, they won it. So he's as a career in general, he's had a better career than Gerrard. You can't, to me, he's better. He's better. Like, if you were to ask me who would I take, I would take Fabregas over nearly every midfielder there is out there. Do you know what I mean? That's how much I rate him in his prime, wherever. Because one thing I know about Fabregas is that man can split any defense there is out there. He is quality.
He is quality. He is definitely quality. 1,000,000% he is quality. And I'm thinking, I think I'm with you. But again, that's more preference. Like, I like that type of midfielder who can control the game, put his foot on the ball, play. And someone said in the comments, you could play as a 6, you could play as an 8, you could play as a 10. He's that good.
He's that false 9 at Barcelona as well. He played as a false 9, which is crazy. But
and I remember correctly, he played as a false 9 for Spain in some of the tournaments. I can't remember all the games. That's why he was good. Yeah, different. Man. That's what I'm saying in that. But yeah, Fabregas and him coming back to Chelsea and also as well winning a Premier League title with you lot during that period, playing because he played. Was that when Modric was there still?
Fabregas, Fabregas. He won 2 Premier League trophies with us. One of them was with Matic in it. Man, that guy was just. I love the guy in it. Do you know what I mean? I completely love Fabregas. I can't even sit here and lie like I didn't. Do you know what I mean? Just different gravy.
I hear you. And since he said he's jumping on because he's going to jump on to tell his story, but he says this right in the Gerrard story. He says, unpopular opinion, prime Suarez is better than Aguero, Drogba, Kane, Van Persie, etc. I don't know.
That's a lot of names.
Aguero,
that's a lot of names.
Drogba, Nah, not for me.
Nah.
Kane is he's up there. Suarez
Kane's
is
up
very
there,
I
good.
think
dude.
Suarez is better than Kane.
Yeah.
Drogba, no.
I can't say Drogba just with clutch moments. Aguero, just no. Just
Nah,
because
because we're doing prime of each of these players as well. If we're going to say prime Suarez, so prime Drogba, we definitely don't beat.
No,
Prime Aguero, he's not ahead of. Prime, this is a guy.
You know what it is? He's a shout. It's a shout to say he possibly. It's a shout because to me, he is on their. He's on their level. I can't.
He's in the conversation.
Yeah, he's in the conversation. Like what he did that one season was just it was an absolute madness. So to say he's definitely in the conversation, innit? But him over Drogba, nah, never.
Yeah, I'm not having him over Drogba. But that's not a shot at Suarez, because I think we did it from a third eye view, and we did like 2010 to 2020. What's it called? Our Premier League 11s, and Drogba made, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how good. Like he's one of the strikers I rate the most as a non-Manchester United player. Like I think he's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But if he is, go on.
He's the ultimate target, man. Like he's the ultimate target, man. That do you know what I mean? The Premier League loves those type of target men, innit? You know what I mean? He's the ultimate guy for that position.
Yes, he is.
So
yeah, but before I hear that. Before we get into this comment that you made, Ryan, go on. Tell us the Gerard story, innit? You know what I'm saying? Don't miss out on the details because it was great. Bro, yeah, if you've not met, I know you've met Lewis, Ryan, meet Monster meet Ryan. Not sure if you've met
Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, bro. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Just, really reliving the Gerrard moment. You guys mentioning it and bringing back those horrible memories at the time. But well, I told you the story last week on the Q&A, didn't I?
Yeah. Now, tell it again, innit? These man want to hear it, innit?
Yeah,
I want to hear it again.
I'm at the game and I'm in the what was the old main stand, so when it was only one tier. So I was quite low down as well, so I had a good view of it. It was near the halfway line, probably a bit towards the right. So, and I was at the end, closer to where Gerrard slipped, closer to that end. Now, when Sacco played it, I could just tell something was going to happen, like, it was just obvious. And when that happened, man, I was like, Gerrard, what have you done? And like the Allison thing in the watch along, it was basically like that. Gerrard.
I remember that. Oh, gee, Allison in the watch along. Anyone who's seen it, go and watch the Liverpool versus Manchester City watch along when Allison was doing up Kepa and all them things there or whatever, Karius, and Ryan was losing it in it. Allison. But yeah, it is what it is. You lot get the likes up as well on the video in it. Make sure you share, subscribe to the channel. Jan City said it here. He said, "Don't let this slip now," and then he slipped. It's poetic.
I was at that game as well.
Oh, was you there? I didn't know you was there. You was at the Palace game. I talk us through that, innit? When you
what? I was at both of those games. I just remember I saw the team at the end of the game coming together at the end, like hugging each other, and I could kind of see Gerrard crying a bit, but I couldn't obviously hear what they said, and I didn't hear what they said, and then obviously when I got home, I found out, and yeah, I mean, I never imagined that you'd end up slipping 2 weeks later like that and cost us the league. I mean, you know what the crazy thing is? A lot of Liverpool fans say Gerrard was so unlucky. He wasn't unlucky; it was his own fault because. What happened is he miscontrolled the ball. He took his eye off the ball, let it roll under his foot, and that caused him to lose balance. He didn't really slip because it was a sunny day anyway. It weren't even raining or anything. It weren't even because of the pitch. He slipped because he miscontrolled the ball and had to reach for it and lost balance. So it was his own fault, basically.
It was a sunny day.
Yeah, I had a perfect view of it, innit? Like, I had the most perfect view of it possible. So, and I started crying in it at the end of the game. So. I was only like 13 at the time as well. So.
Oh, Jesus. That is just a great moment. And the fact that he said, this does not slip now. And then he slipped. Like, you can't beat that in it. Like Jan City said, it is poetic. Where is it? Danny DeRito says here, not going to lie, prime Yaya Toure is clear of every other Premier League midfielder. We'll start with you, Monster. What's your thoughts on that?
Every other midfielder, bruv.
That's what he's saying.
Definitely bugging on that one, bro. Like every other midfielder. Nah, not Paul Scholes. No, not Paul Scholes. No, definitely not Paul Scholes.
I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it in a second. Lewis, what are you saying to that?
Prime Yaya Toure is up there with a lot of midfielders, but as the best, nah. When you get to the top, it's like a case of minimals to what makes people better than the others. And Yaya Toure ain't up there, but he's definitely close. Like in a list of all the best, he's up there, but I wouldn't say top.
Yo, Ryan.
I thought Prime Yaya Toure was ridiculous. Like, obviously, it only lasted like two. He had like two really, really good seasons. Like the year they won the league when they went head to head with us, he was the only reason he didn't win Player of the Year that year was because Suarez was just on a mad one for us. But Yaya was running from the halfway line and smashing it top corner regularly from 25 yards out. But if I'm being honest, it hurts me to say it, but the best midfielder I've probably seen overall is probably Scholes in the Premier League era. Like Scholes for me is better than Gerrard. Sorry.
I said, let's go, man. Innit? I love this. Yeah, keep this rolling.
It's a weird one with Gerrard, you know. I love Gerrard, but I'm not as big as a fan of him as a lot of Liverpool fans. I thought he was a bit overrated, to be honest. Even though he was better than Lampard, in my opinion, I always thought Gerrard was a bit overrated.
Mad.
Which was a bit. Yeah,
what? That's mad to hear you say that as a Liverpool fan.
As a footballer, I prefer Xabi Alonso personally.
Xabi Alonso was different.
Different gravy.
I preferred him.
Xabi Alonso was different gravy, like different. Yeah. Like to me, I always said, like, if you can start in that Spanish squad with all the midfield talent they had, then you are an all-time great. Do you know what I mean? So Sergio Busquets, who else was there? Even
Xavi and Iniesta were both there.
Xabi Alonso, Iniesta, Xavi. Obviously, they got rid of Marcos Senna later on. Like these guys are just all-time great midfielders, and to me, you don't get better in midfield. In a midfield sense, you don't get better than them lot. No way. You just don't.
Yeah. Nah, I hear that. In regards to Yaya, different quality. Like someone said, it's bigger when the surface says, nope, Yaya only had 2 great seasons, 11, 12, 13, 14. But like Ryan was saying as well, I seen him, I think it was against Palace, ironically, and he just picked up the ball from the halfway. Yeah. He looked like a year 11 playing against year 7s at times.
I think he scored one against Aston Villa once, where he just ran from the halfway line, burst past everyone and slotted it in. He was just
ridiculous. So I think, obviously, over longevity, no, but in terms of those seasons you're talking about when he was great, he was fantastic for them. You know what I mean? But the reason why is productivity versus ability and longevity also, because he was only, those seasons we're talking about were only a couple of seasons. Where you look at Scholes, he was there for pretty much the whole of United's dynasty, and they won everything during that period.
I think
so not only did he have more than once, everything more than once. He won everything more than once. He won the Champions League twice, isn't it?
Yeah. You're spot on. He was there, both times. Man's there in that. All them Premier Leagues, I think probably by the first one, he's probably there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go on, Ryan.
I think a big reason why I rate Scholes higher than Gerrard is because Gerrard relied a lot more on athleticism than what Paul Scholes did. When Gerrard got past the age of, let's say, 30 and got beyond his prime years, you saw a big decline in his game, which was natural because of what he relied on to be good. Whereas Scholes was still running games in the holding midfield role even after his athleticism started to die down. So the fact that Scholes still managed to remain at such a high level after his prime years, I think that's a big reason why I put him clear of Gerrard, to be fair, as a technical footballer, 100%.
Because people forget he adapted his game. That's the thing. Because obviously, because in his latter years, people only remember Scholes as a deep line playmaker. People forget that he used to get in the box and score goals. He was an attacking midfielder, and then eventually he adapted his game. He was king of both. Yeah, I mean, he was quality as an attacking midfielder, getting in the box, scoring goals. And then when he became a more deep line playmaker and controlling games, same difference in all types of different areas. And consistently, it was good. But yeah, Zane, you're a joker. But yeah, please make sure you hit the like button, people. Share, hit the subscribe button. Also, Lewis's channel is in the title. I'm going to add Monstars as well. Monstars CFC is his title. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I think it's are you on road to 6K now, fam? I know you're doing big numbers over there.
Yeah, appreciate
Make sure you
that,
subscribe.
man.
Yeah, man. Of course, man. Watch his man to finding it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, make sure it's 6K. Lewis is doing big number. What number you want, Lewis? What is it? Road to 40 or 50? How many you want? You got
Nah, I
hella
wish,
Road
man.
to
I
100.
wish, man. We ain't even hit 21K yet. Road to 30K is moving slowly, but we're moving.
Hey, make sure you get Lewis to 30K. You get what I'm saying? And that. And Yancy, don't ever be lying on my name. And look at this lying about he scouts the man accent is fake. Yo, I'm Manc through and through. You know what I'm saying? And that. I can't fake this Manchester accent. I'm Manchester through and through. Unfortunately, not too far from their shit ground, but it is what it is. But yeah, obviously, Ryan, big up for jumping on. You get me short notice to share that Gerard Story. Never get tired of hearing it. Monster, I'll let you shout out your socials and everything you got going on.
Yeah. If anyone wants to follow me, I'm just Monstar CFC on literally everything: Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, obviously as well. That's it. Just Monstar CFC.
There you go. Yo, same to you, Lewis.
Yeah,
Shout out
careful.
your
On
socials.
Twitter and YouTube, you man. Check it out.
Carefree
Yeah,
Lewis
man.
G.
Yeah, man. Carefree Lewis G and that. And yo, Yancy, what do you mean move? Like support your local? They moved the ground closer to where I live, and you know what I'm saying. They moved from Main Road, and now the A has closer to where I live. But it is what it is. Yeah, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Love to everyone who's supporting. We're back. We got 2 more shows after this. So 9:30. Gonna talk from the Arsenal podcast versus the Gerrard City podcast. So that's the Arsenal City preview with Cam, and Yan City. And then after that, 11:30, Gerrard City meets Man United. Myself and Yan City discussing both Manchester clubs, talking all things Manchester City and Manchester United. Big up to everyone who's locked in. We'll be back 8 p.m. next week with this show as well. Myself, Lewis, Tox, etc. And this has been Agenda FC on Sarcasm City TV. Thank you very much.